Oh, for the first time ever, my better half and I are playing Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth, which we've never ever played. The only thing I know is some kind of spoiler that I accidentally read when somebody was talking about an Apollo Justice game. I will not share it with you. Uh, it'll just be something I think about. Otherwise, I don't know Jack Diddley squat. Right. Let's see. Title collect. So Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Gambit. But this was the first. So we're going to go with this one. Do you want HD or do you want pixel art? Okay, so you don't want that? That's how it looked on the DS. Why are you so angry?
Because it should be obvious which one people want.
Well, not a lot of people will like this, but to be honest, it is something more like if you play it on DS and you just kind of like that look, you'll do it. They both look good. And then the other one, they did the best they could with what they had. Everything old is new. For playing the game with HD. Oh, okay. Oh, really?
Pi Day?
Oh my god, it's Pi Day. To make sure the defendant is found guilty, what other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. That may be true, but why? Why go this far? Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough, but a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. No matter what the cost. That is Edgy's outfit. I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. Always have been, always will be. I don't know, but he's in Edgeworth's office.
He's got special hair.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. I hope Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office and keeping it clean. Sorry, I was picturing Gumshoe's nickname in that one.
Oh, yeah, me too.
The door is unlocked. Detective Gumshoe? What's the smell? It's very familiar. Blood? What the? What's the meaning of this? Freeze. Identify yourself. Shut up. You've got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Is that a threat? Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one.
You didn't kill Edgy Poo.
That's right. You better not kill Edgy Poo. And I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrusted into a multitude of cases in some very frantic and busy days. What's this?
Is that Edgy Poo's thing on the wall, or was it Von Karma's? Because didn't Von Karma train him?
Von Karma did, but it looked like that was Edgeworth's attire. Also, I like this. Proof of my profession. However, I prefer to keep it in my pocket. Man, that shade he just threw on Phoenix Wright? The victim in this case. Why was he in my office? Ah. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well. Please continue your investigation. Yes, sir. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, are you okay, sir? Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. When I heard that a murder had taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away. This is Dick Gumshoe. He is a detective with the local precinct, and the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. You're looking a little pale, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine. However... look what they did to your office. It's totally trashed. Also...
Did that guy look this done?
Looks like. How did he do that? Ah. The culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. Whoa, sounds like you're getting really burned up over this whole thing. The crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Ho ho! That's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed, our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep any leads or information we find etched in the forefront of my mind. Speaking of things that pique my curiosity, why of all places did the murder occur in my office?
No, I don't think it's coincidence.
Nah. No. I get the nagging feeling that this is something important to keep in mind. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really, especially because of this. The key to your office. What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Logic? Really? By finding the connection between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic. So how do you use... I know it's a gameplay element, but... but it's like gumsh. First, I recall the information we've gathered with L1, and then I connect them together with triangle. Now, to use L1 and recall the facts. Oh, okay, this is a simple version of it. For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks, which means it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as mere coincidence. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir. There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? You're really on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir. Yes, well, when you follow leads to their conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray far from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir. The basis of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir. I know that, and when I want to examine something, I simply use X when I'm next to it. Oh, if you ever feel lost and want to talk, just use triangle, okay? I'll give you great, precise advice as an ace investigator, sir. Something to try later if I have free time, I suppose. I finished photographing the body, so it should be alright to examine this area. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny.
Oh, what's his name over there?
Well...
Somebody wrote something.
I don't believe it. I packed those files on those shelves so tight. Then not even an earthquake could make them fall off. But just look at them. At this rate, the rest of the files won't be able to withstand an earthquake at all. A problem, to be sure. Well, once the investigation is over, we'll put them back up on the shelf. Oh, okay, I thought,
Doesn't make the notes in there?
Yeah, it does.
Maybe you have to find the hand first.
Yeah, that's possible, so that's why I went straight to the hand. Oh, there's blood all over his lower abdominal area. Looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir. In other words, he was shot. Yep, and until the autopsy's done, I don't think we'll know much more than that. Please have the body sent to the morgue once they're done processing the crime scene. Are you going to be okay with keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course, this is the safest way I know to keep track of it all. Alright, if you say so. Yeah, I do like it too. I keep all the evidence I find either in or with my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have but to press R1 to open my organizer. But the organizer isn't only for evidence. I keep people's profiles on hand in it too. It's probably a good idea to make a habit of checking the facts often. So we have this. This body was found at 2:05. I can't believe he's 32. What do we have here? Hey, I think I've seen one of these before. It's a police badge, detective. Oh, hey, I have the exact same thing, actually. What a coinky-dink. Let's take a look inside. Buddy Faith. It would appear that our victim was a detective, just like you. Your files are all over the floor, sir. They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. And I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, this just rendered all the time and effort I put in pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I watered the flowers every day, just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place until it sparkled. Does he have a life? Okay.
Did it prompt you to do that?
No, I just wanted to see when I pressed L1. Oh, good idea. Let me do the gun. And I'll go to that blood. What do we have here? If so, it would mean that the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here. Also, is there a way that I can, text skip? Perfect. I think I've seen one of those before. Care to enlighten me as to where? Oh, I know! I was issued the exact same model, I think. Detective. I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. But now that I think about it, you do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine much, except in emergencies, so that's why I didn't recognize it. So it's the same type of revolver as the ones used by this precinct's detectives. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Now to calmly use some logic and figure out if any of them are connected to each other. Okay, I will do that in a sec. Oh,
You got everything.
I think so.
We got the whole phone.
Yeah, I hope we can solve this case quickly. I'd like to return to relaxing on this sofa. That thing looks a billion times softer than my mattress at home. Can I sit on it too, just for a little while, sir? Detective Gumshoe, you know I can't allow that. Until this case is solved, neither of us has time to spare, let alone rest. You're right, sir. I'm gonna work hard and be a real trooper to the end. Even once this case is over, I don't think he can afford to take any time off. So... I guess we'll talk to him. You called, sir? Oh, no. Oh. Oh, do I press X for him? Okay, so I press triangle to talk to Gumshoe whenever, and I press X to talk to him. please, I need absolute silence. Fingerprint lifting is a delicate art. Well, I never. Do you have anything to report? Sir, yes, sir. Nothing out of the ordinary right now, sir. And yet there's something out of the ordinary right in front of my eyes.
There's a dead dude in the office.
Talk about a contradiction. Something out of the ordinary. I should look around a bit more. I guess he's referring to the gun. Alright. Sorry? So, why did it happen in my office? Signs of a struggle.
The killer's goal.
The killer's goal?
What are we trying to do here?
So, I think we're trying to connect one to the other.
Okay, so, I'm wondering what the killer's goal is, but...
So, this is used by precinct detectives, so I think this goes with this, meaning he was killed by his own gun. The revolver, I'm pretty sure it's really obvious because it's the first case, and they're just trying to let you get the hang of it. Could that belong to our recently departed? Detective Gumshoe, could you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time? Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see. What have we got here? Mr. Edgeworth, sir, this guy's wearing a gun holster. So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver. As I always say, you've got to look really carefully at each piece of evidence. You can use R to rotate an object. There's no such thing as a bad angle. Use L1 and R1. Okay, well... this. Looks like only one round was fired from this. Wow, so the killer killed the Vic with just one shot after wresting the gun from him. Sounds like the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth?
He probably killed the gun because he made 2 shots. Because he shot him.
Yes, and then he shot the wall. Oh, so... okay. That's all we're gonna find out. We should send the body out to, Jim! Isn't that the guy who killed him?
I think that's the little shit that we think did it.
Yeah. Psh. Why, oh why? How could this have happened to a guy like you?
His name wasn't Jim, was it? It was Buddy Faith.
Yes. Are you alright? Don't touch me. Leave me alone. Just let me be. Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh. Look at him. Jim looks like he's just turned in for the night. I can't get over that now. He's getting the guy's name wrong.
His name is Buddy, right? Buddy
Yeah,
Faith.
Buddy
Okay.
Faith. I'm sure. Just in a blood-stained suit, pal. Where are my manners? Aren't you that prosecutor? Why, yes I am. I'm Jacques Portsman, prosecutor. Jim here was my partner in crime busting. I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I am also a prosecutor. Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir. So you're Miles Edgeworth. Guess this is your office. Yes, that is correct. And it was you. You're the one who killed Jim. Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay? I will not. I know how things work around here. High prosecutor's office doors all have locks built into them. Only the owner of the office has the key to his or her own office door. That is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner.
How do you know the door was open?
Exactly. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip this whole time, pal. And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? But the only one who could get in here was me. Ho, 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 ho. Wait, that means... I'm not sure what that means.
Are you gonna defend Gumshoe?
Well, no, we're the prosecutor. So it was you then. You're Jim's killer. No way, pal. You got it all wrong. Everyone calm down. Mr. Portsman, correct? If you are a real prosecutor, you should know to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions? Alright, I get the point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. You sure are one cool customer, though, Mr. Edgeworth. I've heard all the rumors about you. You're the great genius prosecutor. You're something of a legend, you know. Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? A pleasure to work with you. You guys were conducting your investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on, then. It's your room after all. Thank you, I intend to. I just want a little bit more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there, sir? I want you to capture this scene on film for me. My final farewell to my partner, Jim. I should probably give them some space.
That's weird, though.
Yeah. Ah, here we go. Now we can look at this. Ah, your jacket, sir. What's it doing on the floor? It must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing around. So the killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well. They dared to shoot the ultra-special jacket that you made your prosecutorial debut in? What if they had shot through it? It would have been a disaster. It's not worth getting worked up over, Detective. Not when there's something more here. Like what? I take it you haven't noticed it yet, Detective. There's a giant contradiction right here in front of us. Really? It's the gun, yeah. Did I say contradiction? He must be rubbing off on me. I'm starting to sound like him. Ah! But I have my own methods, and I'll conduct this investigation my way. When the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence or seems off, that's when my deductive skills come into play. First, I have to find the spot that holds the contradiction. This is it. This bullet hole is where the contradiction lies. When I spot something that's off, I should point my cursor at it and press triangle with conviction. And when I have found sufficient proof to prove the contradiction, I present it. This is how I do things.
Eureka!
Yeah.
This thing? I don't know. I like this.
You're gonna be here.
Simon Blackwell.
You miss Simon Blackwell?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't exist yet when this came out. Like, this came out before that game. This bullet hole is the contradiction. What do you mean, sir? It's elementary. Insolence. Wow, 2 shots were fired in this room. Oh, I see. I forgot Blackwell said insolence. I thought...
He said silence, and the lady said insolence.
That's right! First fell the victim, and the second fell to this frame. Hey, that's right! However, this gun was only fired once. Hey, that's true too. Which means that one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. The killer have another gun prepared for tonight. By the way, I noticed something, sir. Yes? What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame?
See?
Ah, it's a secret safe. Secret safe? Oh, I smell money. I'll spare us the trouble and just say it. Nothing like what you're imagining is inside. Now, if you could kindly move this frame out of the way. Roger that. Achoo, achoo, talk about dusty. I suppose that's what happens when I'm not here to dust it once in a while. I had no idea there was a safe here, and I'd have kept it clean for you, sir. So, when did you put this thing in? It wasn't something I had installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one. Really? I had no idea. Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence. So what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth? Right now, nothing. We only use them to store especially important evidence when a trial is in session. That's it. Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Now this is odd. You found something, sir? This keypad. Don't you find it to be a bit too clean? Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not on the keypad itself. You there, the forensic scientist. Yes, sir. Could you please dust this area for fingerprints? You got it, sir. I couldn't find, let alone lift, a single print. Looks like it was wiped down well. As I thought. It appears that logic is the only way around this setback. Time to rationally and calmly connect the dots with the information we have. What has happened in my office? Fingerprints on this have been wiped cleaned off. Other than the victim's gun that I found, could there be another gun in play here? So I wonder if the killer's goal had to do with the safe.
Yeah, I don't know.
So... I believe I have figured out what the murderer was after. Well, what is it, sir? The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests the criminal had at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I believe. Changes what the other pieces of information can tell me about this crime. Well, we also know only prosecutors know about the safes. That dude's a prosecutor.
But we can put that in the name. I still don't understand how this works. So, like, two of the things down here should fit together.
Basically, yeah. Like, you'll note, I mean, the shape's all the same, so it's not really the shape, it's more connecting one, like, basically starting one train of thought and continuing it to its conclusion.
The signs of the struggle. But, like, why do you have that highlight? One of these should fit it unless we haven't found the other piece that fits it.
Right. So, like, and we went right back in, so I feel like signs of struggle, theft. I don't know. Mr. Porchman, a word, if I may. Jim, I swear I'll find your killer and bring them to justice. You wait and see. It'll be for both of us. Now then, you wanted to talk to me about something? No, that's alright. I feel like I'm interrupting your conversation. How's it coming along? Please, I need absolute silence. I'll leave this man to his art. So let's see. Signs of a struggle. Files are a mess, pointing to a struggle between the victim and the killer. Theft motive. Culprit tried to open the safe. What's the killer's motive? Theft. Other than the victim's gun that I found, could there be another gun in play here? So...
Maybe he shot the detective and then took his gun away from him to shoot at that. So he shot the detective with another gun.
Right.
Took the detective's gun away and shot the detective.
Yeah, when he had the gun pointed at, Edgeworth. Can't see a clear connection between these two pieces of information.
I think you have to find who you know.
But it brought me back to this immediately. Well, there's only one other we didn't do. This and this. Right? I am an idiot. I guess so.
Something just doesn't make sense, right?
So it seems to. My steel samurai doll was spared any harm. Speaking of which, I still haven't actually sat down and watched any of that show. What's it about again? Well, I don't know about it myself, but the hero of the Steel Samurai warrior of Neo-Old Tokyo is a steaming samurai. His goal is to defeat the evil magistrate. It's a show geared toward kids. However, its high production values and riveting plot draws in a number of adults as well. Kind of like SpongeBob. Spin-offs like Pink Princess, Warrior of Little Old Tokyo, and the Nickel Samurai, along with the deluge of merchandise and even a new stage show, gives it presence. You sure know a lot. Are you sure you're not some sort of rabid fanboy? Of course not! Anyone that keeps up with society knows at least this much. Edgeworth's a big Steel Samurai fan. And that conversation lasted longer than expected. Let's return to the investigation. Watch out for the teacup fragments there, sir. The killer's gonna pay. This tea set. Yeah, you're really mad over this. This tea set is very dear to my heart. It can only be bought in England. It costs more than your whole month's paycheck. What? Now I feel the killer's wasted one of my monthly paychecks. Just I rushed over here as soon as I heard there was a room in your office, sir. Investigation's just gotten started, so I guess there's not much else to say. So, were you the one that found the body, Mr. Edgeworth? Unfortunately, upon my return, I found my office door to be unlocked. And what awaited me inside was this whole messy affair. Ouch, that's rough. Even though I left the security of this room to a certain detective. Sorry, sir. You seem to have picked up a few good leads. Oh, so now you're going to do that thing you do with all the information, right? What are you babbling about? The brainy thing you were talking about just a few minutes ago, sir, on logic. You said that you can look at all of your leads and info by pressing L1. Then you pick the ones that seem related with X and connect them to triangle. That's your way of investigating, right, sir? Yes, which is why this exercise in explaining my own method to me was unnecessary. Okay, then how about I explain my logic to you next? That is even more unnecessary. Deductive reasonable is the way to go? Seriously? It's called deductive reasoning, detective. Clearly something you lack. It's been a while since I sat at the desk. Go how, Miss Steele. It's so tiny that it looks newer than when I first bought it. Oh ho, yeah, that thing's so polished that it makes mirrors jealous. Don't tell me you had no other work the entire time I was away, detective. My job is to protect your office, sir. And you did such a good job protecting it that murder occurred in it. That's harsh, sir. I have to admit the desk has never looked better. So I can't dock his pay. Wow. That's one hell of a thing to say. Let's see. Never knew there was a safe hidden back here. Well, if detectives knew about them, then they wouldn't be secret now, would they? Are there any other secret hidden things in this room? Even if there were, it would defeat the purpose of them being hidden if I told you. So don't bother looking for them. So there's no, hidden camera around, right? What if there was? No, it's nothing. Forget I said anything. Do I even want to ask what he's been doing in my office while I've been away? Yeah. Yeah, he's been doing a great job. Okay. Is this yet another batch of fresh flowers? The ones that come with a card attached every month like clockwork for you? Yep. Speaking of that, let's see what's on the card this month, sir. All will be resolved. Wendy. Oh, Miss Irony.
Oh, Windbag?
Wendy Windbag?
Wendy Oldbag.
Wendy Oldbag. Oh my god. Oh, Miss Irony, how painful are thy thors? Wendy, isn't that the name of that old lady with the whiny voice that's stuck? That's, oh my god! Wow. Oh, it's your trophy. The, Knight of Prosecutors, right? King of Prosecutors. And it's not a trophy, it's a shield. They only send this to the winning prosecutor, right? Yes, but I have no real interest in the perceived worth of other people. As for my own worth, that is something only I can determine for myself. That's so slick, sir. I'm gonna have to try saying that sometime. Fortunately for him, his monetary worth is tied directly to his worth to me. Let me see. We did like every one. This and this can go together. This and this can go together. And this can go together. We tried all of them.
You can't really know.
No.
Talk to everybody who presented stuff.
We talked to him. There's a check mark. Talk to him. That. Alex, they even knocked over your chess set. I had it all set up, ready for when you got back. I figured we could play a few games. I had no idea you were interested in chess. I'm actually pretty good at checkers, so I thought I'd give chess a try. In that case, I suppose I can set some time aside after we solve this case. Though I don't expect the games to tax my mental acuity much. Acuity much, I should say.
You need to check out this cat.
You can't get there, though.
The writing. I want to know about the writing.
Maybe there's something we missed here that I didn't do yet?
Just engraved on the bottom, like that serial number.
Got that. The thing that it's so easy to take a life with just to pull up a trigger. You know, I can't ever see myself really liking guns. Oh, but I love the ones they use at track and field meets to start races. If you take off before it's fired, everybody always ends up following your lead. To chase you down for a false start, detective. Now that you mention it, even when I finish first, I always wind up in last place. Oh, gumshoe.
Not much to see, right?
It seemed like.
Actually, is yellow. Oh, you're down.
Yeah. What the heck am I missing?
I don't know. I'm like, is there something that we haven't looked at?
Oh, like I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure the game said I needed to do more, but the thing is, we did all three, didn't we? We did. What?
Oh, it just went together.
There's a possibility that the files displayed on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer.
Yeah, they're looking for something.
Ah.
That might also be the motive, right?
Yeah, because on the video, on the cutscene at the beginning, there was no struggle. The guy just shot him.
Yeah. And he might have already been looking for something.
Let's see, we need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen. Yes, sir, I'm going to shelve files like you've never seen before, even at a library. Sure, let's give that a try. Why do all the good ones always die young? Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Mr. Edgeworth. No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth. And so what are we supposed to do? How do we go about finding the truth? First, we calmly restore the files to their rightful place. You got it. Here, let me help. So this file goes here, and that book goes there. You should know a lot about where things go, despite it being Mr. Edgeworth's office. Because I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal. Okay, done. It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here. Oh, the bloodstains on the bookshelf are still fresh. I suspect that the victim was killed in a standing...
Bookshelf movable. See how it has cracks? Does it spin? So fingerprints are coming with like someone being clean.
Yeah, they are very weird. Huh. And then the guy fell onto the floor, right? The blood on the floor is kind of grossing me out. Detective, I don't have time to deal with your weak stomach right now. But you know I'm no good with blood, sir. I'm certain there's something wrong with this picture. Yeah, well, let's do the first thing. The victim's handprints. He must have tried to support himself with his hands his hands here after being shot. There are prints on the floor, too. These must have been made when unable to stay standing, he dropped to the floor. So this is where the victim lodged itself, the bullet lodged itself, after it went through the victim, huh? For the bullet to be lodged so squarely in a file spine indicates that the files were ransacked after the shooting had occurred. Then I guess the victim was moved because he was in the killer's way. It appears that the victim was in a sitting position here after being shot. Oh, so that's why the seat of the victim's pants has blood on it. That would be the logical conclusion. The killer moved the body because it was leaning against the bookshelf. Blood on this guy's pants proves that pretty well. In a sense, I suppose. See, I'm not completely useless, Mr. Edgeworth. I put them all back, just as they should be, sir. Doesn't look like anything's missing. Although it does look like the killer moved the body to flip through my shelves. I wonder if they found what they were looking for. Alright, so now we got a deuce. No.
You have to deduce what?
Gotta deduce something. So basically there's a contradiction somewhere.
From suicide.
Yes, but what do they contradict?
That he was sitting, he braced himself because he would have had to have got that. Or I.
I mean, it definitely seems like something's weird with the prints, but that might be something we find out a little later.
In the crack.
Yeah, nothing shows up on the cracks. I wonder if... I mean, the spot's kind of connected, because the victim's revolver? This is clearly where the contradiction lies. No, it's not. I don't really see what's so wrong with that spot. Ah, you don't understand? You see, therein lies the contradiction. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, it'd be nice if you just admit when you're wrong. That was a mistake. That wasn't a mistake. That was me keeping you on your toes, detective.
You've already decided that.
Yeah. One thing that gets me is that the bullet went through the victim's abdomen, but then he would have had to have been sitting, me? Look how low the shot is. Maybe I'm onto something with that? Maybe not. Oh, there's clearly a contradiction with this bullet hole. What do you mean, sir? You don't see? Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher up. But what if the guy was shot while he was sitting or lying down, sir? That would be illogical. The victim leaned against the shelf here after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he was shot. Then that means... Wait, what does that mean, sir? It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mine, detective. In any case, it means someone made a faulty assumption, and it was from this mistake that our current contradiction was born. What is the faulty assumption that caused this problem with the bullet hole's position?
Look at the files. Let's get the files instead of Andy.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I believe the order of the files is a bit off. And I put them back in the wrong order just now? Hey, actually, I think the labels on the files are wrong. Oh? Yeah, you see how the files that were shot begin with the number 0? What are those doing all the way down there after 1, 2, and 3? That's really weird. Actually, the way they are organized now is the correct order. They're exactly as I see them in my mind's eye. But the numbers are all out of order. Those white binders are special, so they are arranged a little differently. But from this, we know that the files were not in this order when the crime occurred. Aha, so that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you did, detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order and see what we find out. Do you think it'd be okay to prop the body back up to how it was before it was moved? They finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe. As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it logically should be. The killer... I know his head's down, but the guy almost looks like he has no head and things like that.
They put the hat back on him, that's why.
The killer went through my files first before shooting Mr. Faith.
And he took one of them.
Yep.
It says Gumshoe upside down.
Oh my god. And then put the files back in the viewer. Exactly. And then proceeded to shoot the victim. But why would someone kill a man and then look through your files one more time? Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown into disarray twice, once before and once after the crime. But why? Now the crime scene is as it was at the time of the murder. Time to give it another look. This! What is that? And why does it say Gumshoe on there in blood? I'd say that's some incredibly incriminating evidence. Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed. No, wait, there's gotta be some mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me, say something, sir. It appears that one of my files was stolen. Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation? Is this what the killer was really after? It'd be OH. Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end. And this most important message managed to reach us. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is the guilty party. If you were going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up. Jim's words, they're more than enough, wouldn't you say? If that's how you want to play it, then at least allow me to understand your reasoning. You got it. I don't like this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude. And there must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you going to do? What I always do in court, I'm going to cross-examine him. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with this technique. Ooh, how do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? Might as well. Okay, I guess might as well. Alright, first I'll listen to the witness's testimony. If I find a flaw in the testimony, something that contradicts the evidence, I open my organizer with R1 and present the piece of contradictory evidence. To present something, I simply use triangle, but that's old news. But it's not like there's going to be a flaw in their testimony every time, right? Correct, and at those times I need to press the witness with L1. Sometimes by pressing I can draw new information and new or modified testimony. I think I get it, sir. I'll be sure to try this technique out during investigations too. Very well, I'll even show you how it's done. Now watch carefully. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gum from him and shot him dead. Furthermore, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf.
Did you see the price?
Oh dear. Yes, I do see the price. Wait, that's for the florist?
Floor.
Oh, that's for the floor? That's a bit much. But thanks to you, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice. You intend to argue that the victim's dying message points to his killer. I can hear Jim's voice, and he's calling for his killer's arrest. Are you sure you're not mishearing his words, Mr. Portsman? There is no way Detective Gumshoe is the culprit here. I will find the flaw in this man's logic, and expose it with credible evidence.
So we're kind of doing the... I guess this is just a practice case to get you used to how it's going, but like we're not even in trial.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing. I don't know if trials are in this or not.
Oh.
I'm not 100%, because I know this is supposed to be like the cross-examination.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like we're doing
Yeah.
everything in the...
But like in the investigation instead.
like in the crime scene.
Yeah. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead.
Hold it!
You know, there's something I've been meaning to ask. What is it? Why do you call the victim Jim,
Yes.
when clearly his name is Buddy Fate? Isn't it obvious? Jim is the perfect name for my companion. Jacques and Jim. Don't those two names go together like peanut butter and jelly? But Jim isn't even close to the guy's real name. Well, Jacques and Buddy just sounds off somehow. Besides, he was the third of a bunch of guys I decided to nickname Jim. He talks about the victim like he was his pet.
Hold it!
Do you really think it was necessary to dishevel my shelves twice to do that? That's true. Okay, then maybe his real intent was theft. Hey, are you accusing me of stealing something from Mr. Edgeworth? There's a possibility. Maybe your salary's been cut so much that life is getting a little too rough to handle. I'll have you know that I eat 3 square meals every day, pal. Okay, so all 3 of them happen to be instant noodles, but... Poor thing, what an evil prosecutor you were paired up with. And what a motive, no? That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf.
Hold it!
Why would Detective Gumshoe do such a thing? Because the body was getting in his way. He had to mess up your bookshelf somehow, right? Anyway. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was leaving.
Hold it!
Why do you think that the killer didn't notice the bloody letters? The body was covering it quite well, wouldn't you say? That's how he missed it. But judging by what I've seen, it doesn't take much for your detective to miss something. Who do you think you are? You know nothing about me, pal. There's a lot a person can understand about another from first impressions alone. Can't say I disagree with him on that point. Why don't you say something, sir? Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Despite his lack of attention to detail, I don't believe the detective to be the culprit. Nobody could have overlooked the bloody letters, and I can prove it with evidence. I couldn't ask for a better setup for the game-finishing Spike. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice. I mean, I guess it's true. He wouldn't be able to know. I mean, he can't say he didn't notice the bloody letters if one of the books is missing.
Right.
Doesn't make any
It's not
sense.
the right direction. How did that guy write that?
Yeah, upside down.
Objection!
Ooh, my first one. Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic. Yeah, bringing a bit of the courtroom into this, I see. No problem, I'm game. I can't help but find it odd. Excuse me? Odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office. What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking, I get it. Ha ha ha. If you have the time to laugh, and you have the time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention toward the missing file? What? That's impossible. What's impossible, Mr. Portsman? Nothing. The files on that shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines. It's possible that they could have taken the file before committing the murder. I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters and the detective's name where the file should be is proof. Yeah, I mean the S is gone, and there's only half an H. If Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this case, I highly doubt that even he could overlook his own name written in blood on the files. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood. Well, which means, what exactly? What does that make this dying message? It makes it the work of a criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene. That's so low. I can't believe the criminal tried to pin this whole thing on me, sir. I'm gonna get him, sir. You'll see. I'm gonna have him under arrest in no time. Well, Mr. Portsman? Ha 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 ha. Brilliant. Absolutely splendid. Lots deserving of Olympic gold.
Like, doesn't he look like a tennis player or something?
Yeah, he does. I appreciate the praise, but it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning is flawed. Now, you win some and you lose some. That's how life goes. Glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. Ah, but you know, it really is a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up, however. What is it this time? Are you still after me, pal? Humor me for a second. Who has the key to this office? That would be me. But Mr. Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal. That's absolutely right, and I acknowledge your innocence. Well, he does have a gold medal. And why do I sense that you still have something to say? What are you doing? Well, I was thinking, did you know there was one person with a key to this office? There's one other person with a key to this office. One other person? Hey, you there. Yes, sir, what is it, sir? Would you kindly fetch an escort of the lovely young lady here for me? A lady? The girl is a member of this building's security. Think of her as a material witness. Security? Did you say security? No, stop it, pal, don't. What's wrong with him all of a sudden?
What if he's one of his girlfriends? The girl he had a crush on?
Is it Maggie?
Maybe.
I believe she needs no introduction.
Yeah.
I've called upon Miss Maggie Burr, a member of security. Detective Gumshoe, sir? Maggie. It's funny, because the same thing was done to Maggie, where they misspelled her name I-E instead of E-Y. Miss Bird is the security guard on watch tonight. I see, and your point is? My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open all the office doors in this building. Well, what? If you were not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, then the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird. How dare you? I would never sneak into someone's room. That's right, I refuse to believe that Maggie's the culprit, pal. It was me. That's right, I did it. Can we take that as a confession, Detective? Well, it wasn't really me, but it definitely wasn't Maggie, pal. So yeah, it was me. If it was, you'd have no problems with that, right? Please refrain from flying off the handle of the detective. There's no need for such theatrics. Listen to your boss, Detective. He understands what I'm saying here. That girl is the only one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason. It's pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. I mean, if Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, then that leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect. On top of which, she knows our good detective, doesn't she? Making it all the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. So you're saying she used the master key? Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say? That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well. That was then, this is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. It's all about your reflexes and reaction time, especially for an athlete like me. I wonder if there was anyone else other than Miss Bird who could have used the master key. It seems that the only way to get Mr. Porchman to give me more details is to press him. Man, this guy just accusing everybody. The investigation's not over.
Oh, this doesn't work. Let's move on to someone else.
Hold it!
Are you sure Miss Bird is the only member of security who could have used the master key? There's only one person on staff at this time of night, and tonight she's it. Isn't that right, Miss Bird? That's, true, but I wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir. Wasn't able to? What's that supposed to mean?
Move on.
Yes, moving on. Yeah, I'd hate to get sidetracked by something unrelated. Yeah, it probably was gone. What do you mean unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say, pal. But you can't really trust her not to tell lies, plus I hate wasting time. Should I hear Miss Bird out? No details necessary. Not so fast. I too am interested in hearing what Miss Bird has to say. Didn't I just say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies. This guy is so crazy! I'll be the judge of that, Miss Bird, if you please. I discovered that the master key was missing at around 1 a.m., sir. What do you mean by missing? As in, it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it. Mr. Porchman, I believe this to be an important piece of testimony, don't you? I can't believe that someone like you would be taken in by such words. I'm not lying, sir. If that's the case, I'd like to know why you have the master key now? I don't quite know. It just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. Ah, a likely story. And where is your proof that the key was stolen to begin with? I bet you just forgot where you put it and then found it again. I never lose things. I could practically guarantee that. With me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it. Yeah, pal. Trust me, you don't want to test just how bad her luck is. Yeah. How many times did she get accused of murder? Twice?
Well, once it was her own boyfriend.
Yep. And the second time was Tres Bien. Unfortunately, I can't deem this piece of testimony as conclusive. Glad you agree, Mr. Edgeworth. But... You still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office. Her motive? Didn't we already establish that it was theft? I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe.
What do you leave that part of the case up? Like, obviously somebody wanted something there. But why?
Yeah.
Like,
I guess...
figure out what those files are even for.
Yeah, and I guess we'll probably find out, because they're all about one case, we just don't know what yet. I can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points toward a motive of theft. But I'm done taking blows. It's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own.
Hold it!
I concur that the culprit's motive appears to have been thievery, however. Glad to hear that the great Miles Edgeworth is in agreement with little old me. However, with regard to the investigation of the bookshelves and safe, hey, good thinking, asking for my opinion on the matter. Would it be too much for you to allow me to complete a full sentence? I mean, Detective Gumshoe is the one who opened the door.
Hold it!
I thought we had established Detective Gumshoe's innocence pretty thoroughly. It was just a theory, one hypothesis among the many possibilities. I mean, I have my doubts about Miss Bird from the very beginning. If that's the case, then why didn't you mention her first? Now, don't make that face. See, there goes the truth running the other way. Let's pick up the pace and see if we can't catch up to it. I don't think you're catching my drift. But we are in agreement that the detective isn't the killer, right? If so, then I hope you'll understand what I say. That since she is the only one who could have opened your office door, then that leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect.
Hold it!
Don't you think it's a bit early to be jumping to conclusions? Are you saying there's another way to open the door other than with the master key? Oh, I get it. Perhaps you had a spare made for someone else. I'll have you know, I have never made a spare, so what are you insinuating? Nothing. Guess I should have known better than to suggest that someone like you would. On top of which, she knows our good detective, doesn't she? I gotta say, he thought he was going to get away with murder by accusing... Because he accused Edgeworth of murder first, then Gumshoe, then Bird. So is he expecting to murder this guy and then, like, continue to make friends in the department? Somehow? Like...
Hold it!
True psycho.
Yeah. Is there anyone in this district who hasn't at least heard of Detective Gumshoe? Good point. He's practically a celebrity among us prosecutors. Really? I never knew I was so talked about, sir. We're holding our collective breath, you know. From when you screw up so badly that you're literally chased off the force. Wait, what? Is that true, Mr. Edgeworth? Of course not. That's hogwash. Phew, don't scare me like that. I almost had a heart attack there. Making it all the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message.
Hold it!
By dying message, you mean the bloody letters that spell out Gumshoe. I figure that whoever wrote his name must have wanted to frame him. And just the act of choosing his name is proof enough that the two knew each other well. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and present some evidence. I would love to, but first we should listen a bit more and digest what he is saying. Press him for more information. Well, we pressed him about everything.
Hold it!
Are you sure Miss Burr's the only one? Okay.
Objection!
So, I've counterattacked that with evidence, it seems. I mean, she said, but, like, we already said it's not conclusive, but... I feel like that's the thing that...
We can open every office door.
Yes. It can. It's the master key.
But like Mr. Jacques, he can't open
Right.
his door, right?
Yeah, like, because she's security, so she's able to.
Let's see what it says about her. Let's look at Jacques. Here.
So maybe,
Objection!
No, the music's still going. Which part do you have an objection to? It's yes, well, stay cool, Mr. Edgeworth. You know good when you're all flustered. The detective's right for a change. How did it come to this? Calm down, Miles. Listen carefully and think everything through a bit more rationally. The intent from the messed up shelf to the wiped down safe, I'd say thievery. Yeah, I mean... that's the only thing missing. Evidence is a bullet that went clean through him, issued to the victim, one shot fired. Each prosecutor has a safe in their office. They can open this can open every office door. It's the master key to every office in the building. That's it? Okay. Then why even examine this then? OH is missing. Well, I'm probably overthinking it, and I think it's going to be wrong. But why would you steal the one thing in your fake message?
True.
I don't know if it'd be that or if it'd be
Yeah, because then it messes up the message.
yeah.
Objection!
And whenever the music keeps going, it's bad. I guess this would be the other one. Oops.
Objection!
Okay, I'm thinking it's the first one, but I just don't know what is the evidence.
The first one.
The first statement. Because that's when he says, "Oh, I'm going to counterattack."
Okay, but we haven't tried.
Because we've pressed every statement.
Okay, but if you press this one and press it with the initial message.
How is that the contradiction? Are you ready? Press this
Hold
one.
it!
This says that our only obvious suspect is her, but it's not. It's actually him.
Yeah. Yeah, we know it's him. So here he doesn't even let us talk. But I don't know if this is the statement.
Objection!
Well, if she had a master key, she could have came in and stole something and never had to stage anything, and she could just leave the key.
I mean, assuming she didn't run into anybody. Hmm.
This has been so obvious.
I know, it's the first case. Like, this is not that complicated, and yet... Because we pressed everything! Like I even said. I would love to, but first we should listen a bit more to just what he was saying. And press him for more information, but I don't feel like we got...
Hold it! Objection! Hold it!
Just going through to see if there's something I missed.
Hold it! Hold it!
Yes. Yes.
Hold it!
Like, how can I press him for more when we already pressed him for everything? Well,
Objection!
yeah,
What did
okay.
you just do?
Presented the safe on that one. Do you wish to continue insisting that...
Oh, because she shouldn't know about it?
That's what I thought. I mean, because the reason I didn't do it before was because I thought when we discovered that we were in earshot of Jacques... No, Jacques. Why not? It's the truth after all. It was also by your logic that we came to the whole thievery conclusion anyway. Actually, maybe you're right. Maybe it's because she's not a prosecutor. That may be, but you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe, the existence of which is only privy to prosecutors.
Since she was security, she might know that they were there.
Yeah. I find it a little hard to believe that a hidden safe is part of her cunning plan. But she could have found it by accident while she was turning everything else upside down.
Well, he was in the one that got shot.
I highly doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted. Yeah, even I didn't know about that safe, pal. And that means there's no way Maggie could have known about it either. Then, are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor? Interesting conclusion. That's definitely looking more and more probable. Boy, he's keeping his cool pretty well. What's wrong, prosecutor? Do you have a different suspect in mind now? Curses, why? What made you... What's with the angry face all of a sudden? It's all my fault. What do you mean? It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret safes. What did you just say? We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. And that's why I told him I filled him in on the secret safes. And that means, yeah, I know. I had only just told... I was claiming that the victim was the thief? And you were simply trying to stop him, weren't you? Miss Maggie Bird. Excuse me? I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. But killing is going a bit too far, even in your risky profession. What the? You're still accusing Maggie of the murder? Yes and no. I mean, she had stumbled upon Jim, who had probably drawn his gun. I get it. It was self-defense, wasn't it? No, I couldn't. I could never do something like that, not even as a security guard, sir. Plus, even if he was the thief, he wouldn't have a key in this office. He wouldn't have a key to this office, which is precisely why he had to steal it, wouldn't you say? It was Jim who stole the master key. Ah. Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be here with us unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him. Mr. Portsman, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief? I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything else to make sense.
Really? Because like 5 minutes ago, everything else made sense with Maggie Bird.
Yeah. As you know.
No honor, yeah.
Now then, I think we're done here. The investigation waits for no man. Would you people be so kind as to see yourselves out? You can't kick us out. This is Mr. Edgeworth's office. Ah, but I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. You're all suspects to varying degrees and therefore ineligible to run this show.
You're suspect too.
Listen, pal, how many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit. Detective Gumshoe, calm yourself. But, sir, we have no choice but to accommodate his request for now. Aha, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you could remove yourself from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful. Mark my words, Mr. Portsman, we will meet again. If that's a formal request from the legendary prosecutor himself, then I suppose so. Now, don't disappoint me, you hear? This is so funny to me. Like, he's just, like, we're not even in the court of law yet. He's like, it was Edgeworth, it was Gumshoe, it was Maggie.
Everybody.
Yep.
Except for one of the police officers. When he said, "Excuse me, sir," I was like, "Oh crap, we're gonna like accuse one of the police officers."
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was a lady.
Yeah. And, man, he just accused the victim of being the thief. Like,
Everybody but him.
this guy. This guy is insane. What is with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable. Please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm going to find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. But we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. True. So then what now? Looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch. Do not despair, Miss Bird. We can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of his argument against Miss Bird is related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is the perfect place to look for more information regarding the mystery surrounding my daughter. I was wondering if I may speak to... Whoops. If I may speak with you for a bit concerning this case. I've always been a big fan of the courtroom, but this is like a dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth. I can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. I should jog her memory by showing my notes to her with the triangle.
Check her eye.
What?
Check her eye.
Yeah, I see him. Oh. So when did you discover that the master key was missing? By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 a.m., sir. And I noticed it was back at around 2:30 a.m. It was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception window is. But I'm sure that between those two times it was not just gone, but stolen, sir. Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place? Ah, it's not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room away from the window. Always, you say, except for this time, correct? Well, I admit that was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I had used it that I left it sitting out on the ledge. She used the master key. What do you mean by you used the master key? Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. I mean, it's my job as a security guard, right? Ah, what is it? That's right, I just remembered. The prosecutor who forgot his key, it was Mr. Porchman, sir.
You just remember that?
Wow. What? Please tell me more, Miss Bird, quickly. It was around 12 a.m. Mr. Portsman had forgotten his office key, so he came down to security, sir. And that's when you loaned the master key to him. No way, it's against regulations to loan the master key out to anyone. I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. I see. And then what happened after that? Well, he called for me to come close up his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30 a.m., I think. So in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight. Oh, okay, so probably he wanted to get the master key to open the door. That didn't work because she personally escorted him, so then he stole the key later. By what happened. Talk about suspicious. I doubt you can say that you've never left your keys at home, Detective. I think this calls for a thorough examination of Mr. Portman's door. Have you ever met the victim before? Well, I've seen him a couple of times before when I had to go to Mr. Portsman's office. Mr. Faith was always playing basketball with Mr. Portsman, sir. That sounds like fun. Just once I'd have loved to play with them. It sounds fun, but the only person ever taking a shot was Mr. Portsman. All Mr. Faith ever did was pass him the ball, sir. On second thought, I don't think I'd have to fit in all that well with them. Miss Maggie Bird, correct? I take it you are an acquaintance of the detective? She was under my supervision back when she was still on the force, sir. One day she got caught up in a murder and things started going downhill, so she quit. But I owe a lot to Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. Or so I thought until a few hours ago. Right before I was about to clock out for the night. You got caught up in this whirlwind of a case, correct? Don't worry, my whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Wow! Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building, I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of food, failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and now I even managed to be named a criminal just when I would become a security guard. That's a lot to go through in one lifetime. I know, and just when I thought I had finally found my happiness, I wind up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck. You don't need to worry about me, Miss Bird, nor do you need to worry about you, nor you need to worry about yourself. I will solve this case and prove your innocence. All I ask in return is for your cooperation. Yes, sir, Mr. Edgeworth. You can count on me. I'll do all I can to help. What's a basketball doing here? That's Mr. Portsman's prized possession, sir. I heard he also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis. Yeah. And not a single one of those sports is suitable to be played in the hallway. Oh my god. It looks like you're in quite the pinch, Mr. Edgeworth. To be sure, a murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. We must find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly post-haste. Sounds like a messy case you've got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open. How gracious! I will keep your offer in mind. I like how we bow to him, like, who is this guy again? Is everything alright? Yes, sir. If you must know, I weighed myself this morning, and I'm finally at 154 pounds. What? Man, you are thin, dude. Congratulations, but I was asking about this hallway in this room. Oh, everything's okay, sir. A word of advice, stay focused or you may start to lose even more weight. What is the basketball hoop doing here? Hey, didn't this used to be just outside, next to the building a long time ago? So when and why was it moved indoors? I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here recently. Drag it? I heard that it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it himself. All the way up to the 12th floor. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Like the numbers. Room 1203. I take it this is Mr. Portsman's office. Yeah, you can't mistake it because of that basketball hoop, sir. Oh, that reminds me. Mr. Portsman had actually wanted room 1202 really badly. But since you were already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we put it next door, sir. So why was Mr. Portsman so particular about getting room 1202? I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like his birthday is December 2nd. Yep, that's gotta be it. I can't think of another reason why. I can think of at least 3. But why am I even wasting my time thinking about this? The door's locked tight. Heh, I bet the old credit card trick wouldn't work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? This is the office of a high prosecutor detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if the average cat burglar could get through them. Aha! So I guess only a great cat burglar could get in. That must be who our culprit is. Do credit cards still work to open doors like that?
I'm wondering if he actually moved the basketball hoop and tricked her into opening.
Oh! Oh, that is slick, and that is some good thinking.
Like, she didn't actually read the number. So it's hard to miss right next to the basketball hoop. Because if they're just talking and he moved the basketball hoop, she might have just stuck the key in there anyway.
Yeah. Ooh.
Just think it's a bad one.
It's Mr. Portsman's personal basketball hoop. I can't believe he put something like this in the hallway of a prosecutor's office. But you know, it's actually pretty useful, sir. I haven't gotten lost trying to get to your office since it's been here. How long had I been in the same office and you still managed to get lost?
That's 2 people that have now made reference to, like, using it as a landmark to get to the office.
Yeah, I think you're onto something. A minimalist yet classy door made of top-quality wood. It's kind of majestic too. Fits in real well with the ambience of the prosecutor's offices. Even Mr. Portsman seems dignified just because he works behind one of these. Nonsense. A man doesn't become more or less dignified because of where he works. Well, he still seems more dignified than Mr. Payne. Mr. Payne, I suppose custodial work can also be dignified. Oh, poor Mr. Payne. Well, we investigated it, but, like, we didn't get any more evidence from it. So I think so. Oh. It's O? Isn't it missing O series file, sir? No doubt about it. The bloody letters mark it clear as day. There seem to be a few pages missing. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind. So what are these 0 files about, sir? I guess they've got something worth stealing in them, huh? Not particularly, it's just a collection of court case files. However, The cases within these files are not mine. Huh? They belong to the High Prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were. Then that means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing. I wonder why anyone would care about such an old case. Interesting. "1202. These 4 numbers on a number plate alone proclaim this to be my office." Whoops, hey! These number plates slide right out, sir! They have to be able to take the plate off when a room becomes vacant, you know. Although, the idea that it can be so easily removed is kind of... So he removed it and put it in front of him. So he didn't move the basketball hoop, he moved the numbers. Because then he could say, I'm in 1203. And according to the guard, no signs that the lock was picked either, sir. Meaning that the door really was open with a key. Did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob? Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle, wiped, they think. Whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. It's almost majestic, sir. Wish I could be as stately as this door. Only Gumshoe would praise the door as something greater than himself! Being a detective has its own rewards and a certain virtuous value, I think. If you live up to your full potential, that's a poignant trait that anyone can admire. I see, so you're saying, sir, that me being me is the best thing I can do for everyone. Right. That long pause wasn't exactly reassuring, sir. So I wonder if this is the connection, then.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not too early in thinking this. Yes! Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story. What? No way, pal. I mean, sir. You say that you locked up Mr. Portsman's office at around 1:30 a.m., correct? However, the master key had already been stolen at that time. Wow, nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw that contradiction like a pro. I had totally forgotten all about that, but thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right, it was around that very time that I realized the master key was missing. And? Well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir. You pretended? I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir. So in actuality, you never did relock the door then? Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly. So now we're going to try to go in. I guess, right? The door is locked tight. Ah! That's a contradiction! So now we're going to deduce. There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bird had said is true, then why is this door locked tight? Huh? You know, you're right. Miss Bird, are you sure you didn't relock this door? I am certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portsman noticed himself that I hadn't. Which means what, sir? It either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Bird opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one. She opened a different door, but how can you prove that? There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is, we need to examine these. Prints on the master key. Print... What? The number plate, yes. Wait, no! The doorknob. Yeah. Because if his fingerprints are on the doorknob to another door, Or like her fingerprint should be there. The print on the doorknob would tell us everything. Hey you! Yeah, you pal, do us a favor and see what you can lift from this, okay? So what did you find out? There's no need for such belligerent nostril flaring, detective. Sir, I have found only Mr. Portsman's and Mr. Fate's prints on this doorknob. So only 2 people's prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive. I'm lost, sir. Thinking logically, a certain other person's print should be on this knob as well.
Take that!
Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent? You mean, yes, the door that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. What if we have here? Yeah. What is this? Looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir.
It's not back in the right spot.
Ah! Ooh, good eye. I mean, I probably would have seen that eventually, but I was so to this. I brought the 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone, but it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later, buddy. It looks like a note from the victim. Yes, and it's for Mr. Portsman. Note left by victim data, jotted down in my organizer. Now this. What's this? What are you looking at, sir? Oh hey, how about a game? That's okay, detective. I just found the position of this hoop to be a little off. Hey, you're right, sir. I guess it shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk. Positioning of the hoop is definitely unnatural. I better take note of this. Poking around in this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely. Huh? How so, sir? In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit of this case. You know who the real killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth. As long as my logic is sound, then yes. The mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsman. What? Mr. Portsman? I knew it. That's exactly what my logic senses were telling me, too. I suspected it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being the killer, sir. That is anything but logical. Lady and gentleman, prepare yourselves. Come what may, it's time to knock on Truth's door.
Didn't you tell me that body?
Well, no, there's a guy there. Mr. Portsman, I finished processing the bloody letters, sir. Alright, I'm taking a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looking good. You there, taking care of this. Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. End of the line for you, Portsman. We got you now. Call off your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. Is this some kind of joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jacques Portsman, that you are the guilty party in this case. You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you can stay if you promise to stay out of our way. You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job? Huh, I can see right through the unsightly paper-thin mask you wear upon your cowl. Aha, who'd have ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right?
What?
The legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 years? There was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. Really teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? Are you done trying to play mind games with me because they don't work? The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours, for now, is explaining yourself. Although that, too, will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves? Even though we have yet to prove anything. I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how, may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. Sorry, but we are not finished yet. Boy, you're stubborn. Whoops. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something? I'll show you with evidence. Okay. So it's either the master key.
Objection!
Yes, the master key. I believe you were able to open my office door with the master key, no less. Wait. Hold on for a sec. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely, you were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. That's right, you used your finger to direct this person to open my door with the key.
Take that!
You had asked Miss Bird to open your office door for you, yes? Yeah, I kind of forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know? But the room you had Miss Bird open at the time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. But why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? I'm certain that it was Mr. Portsman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door, sir. See, Miss Bird backs up my story. Yet, what if you had misled her to fool her into thinking what you wanted? Huh? And how do you suppose I did that? By switching the number plates on our doors, for example. That's right, they do slide out pretty easily. Furthermore, you then used one other thing to give a very strong impression, that the door she was opening was yours and not in fact mine. What was it that Mr. Portsman used to make Miss Bird think that it was his room? Yeah.
Take that!
What, the basketball hoop, sir? It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building. Which is why it left an unusually... okay, that should be unusually. Strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to just sit outside the office. Yeah. Hey.
Maybe just didn't translate.
I guess because it's a remaster. Like, remember when I showed you that second game? And I'm like, oh my god, look at this typo. And there was no typo because in the original game it said the miracle never happened. But they fixed it by saying the miracle never happened. Ah! That's very true, sir, because there was a basketball hoop sitting there. I thought the door I was opening had to be Mr. Portsman's. There are signs that the hoop had been moved. To sit it in front of my office, to be sure. I see, so that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip. But I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. So he intends to claim his innocence to the end, does he? I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. And Miss Bird is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. My jacket's not dirty, I'll have you know. I just washed it yesterday. Please calm down, for I intend to show who is the one truly covered in slime here.
Objection!
Whoops. Let me press first. I thought it was going to be that he couldn't be in his room the entire time. Because the door is locked right now.
Hold it!
What were you doing in your office? I was doing my usual training regimen. Training regimen? Were you going through your law books from start to finish? Mainly batting practice and some weights. Oh, and I jog when I get the chance. Wow, you must be the buffest prosecutor we have. With the weakest legal muscles, it would seem. I was doing my usual workout, so... You don't have a single reason to suspect me.
Hold it!
Maybe that was it. I think I've given you quite a few reasons, actually. But none of those would stand up on their own. Then what about all the evidence? It's all circumstantial. No judge would convict on such flimsy evidence. He seems to be trembling a little. One more little push, all I have to do is find the flaw in his testimony.
Hold it!
Using the master key, of course. Sure, you have a problem with that? That is what the master key is for, right? Perhaps we should place it in an elaborate labyrinth of some sort for people like you.
Objection!
Gotta get ahead of myself.
Why did you keep that?
So, we have that.
But no, we could suspect him because we know.
So I just tried that. His office. I presented that for 2 things.
What about that?
I mean, that has to do with him, but I don't see how that would be a reason to suspect him right now.
Hold it!
Whoops.
Objection! Objection!
I don't mean to do it.
Objection!
I mean, let's
Hold
press
it.
it just because we haven't yet. Nonsense, you say? Yes, because I'm telling the truth here. I had the girl open my office door. I press him on this
Hold it.
again. Using the master key, of course. Sure, you have a problem with that? That is what the master key is for, right?
Right, see, we should possibly...
Wait, no! He can't use the master key because she didn't have it. She was using the house key.
Unlock it.
Right. How did they get it unlocked?
Well, here's the thing. I had the girl open my office door. No, you didn't. You had him open somebody else's door.
Right. But we already accused him of that. Like, that's why he's saying that.
Objection!
See what I have again? Let's see.
Did you present his door?
I want to say I did that for the last one. Because her prints weren't on the knob. So I already... But I guess if her prints weren't there, then... There we go. Alright. Losing track of what I'm doing. I had your door dusted for threads. My door? Huh, what for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time. You're right, I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints. Her prints? What did they have to do with it? Dude, seriously?
Sweatband is there to keep it all.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, then her print should naturally be on the doorknob she touched. Ah. Further, all of the prints on my office door's knob have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on.
Objection!
But it doesn't change the fact that I was in my room the entire time. Is that really a fact, or is it fiction? Hey, would I lie to you? I have here proof that you were not in your room the entire time this played.
Okay.
Why does that prove it?
He wasn't there. I can't see him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, this song is the one that plays in that Edgeworth video where he talks about gum fudge. Yeah.
Take that!
This is a note the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. A note? It was left under your door, did you not notice? Right here it says, but you're out. You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then, where were you and what were you doing? Ah! Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? We know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me. Detective Faith found you out. Possibly because he heard sounds coming from a room his occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. As I said when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. Heh, 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 heh. Ha, 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 ha. Just what's so funny, pal? Well, that look of stiff seriousness on the face of this office's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me, is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Mr. Edgeworth just explained it all, and he even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit to the crime already. And as I said earlier, it's all so circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped that knob down well. Yeah? I'm a little obsessive-compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch a doorknob that you had touched. Which is why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim's and my own print would be there. You made that up just now, didn't you? Furthermore, as for the note Jim left for me, do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, he could have left it there before I arrived at the office. Like early evening, for example. Are you saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway? Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters, although that's no excuse. That's just a flat-out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size. Ah, but you can't prove that, can you? Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here, sir. Portsman makes a good point. You can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only just realized I had one as we were talking. I guess it would have been better for all of us if I had told you sooner. The funny thing is, he's accused every single person, including the victim, of something. And based on nothing, and now with all this stuff his way, he's like, come on. If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 a.m., correct? And it was then that you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around, I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. Do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. You'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe? Sir, yes, sir. I'll go check out his alibi, sir. Be right back. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsman said. The guys down in criminal affairs said they saw him at around 2 a.m. You see? That's unexpected. All of the evidence points to him being the culprit. But there must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere.
Hold it!
You are correct. It was around 2 a.m. Are you sure? It's really important to me that you're spot on with the time. I remember checking my watch then, and make no mistake, it was 2. Ooh, giving testimony like a pro. Okay, so you came back to your office at 2. It was then that you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint. It is as you say, however. Yes, however, you're the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me who you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see. Oh, come now. I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? I begin to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs.
Hold it!
So you paid the criminal affairs department a visit. Yep, right after I left the prosecutor's building, I headed straight for the precinct. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's a
Hold
perfect
it!
alibi. Well, we did go and ask around to confirm your testimony. And it was just as I said, right? Yes, sir. A number of detectives said they saw you at around that time. See? I have the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve. Arg. Impossible. He actually does have the perfect alibi. What's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face? Can't you say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we've reached the end of the line, and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there. Sir, please escort the young lady out, but remember, be gentle. Maggie! Detective Gumshoe! Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn the situation around. If only I had a clue. Did I miss something he can cast doubt on his alibi?
I think the intruder that he met was not.
Was not him, but then who
No,
the heck
because we're
was
still
it?
missing a gun,
Yeah,
and the shape of the face was different, and he could have killed him, but he didn't.
yeah.
So I think we have another person involved.
Yeah, and I don't know who.
I don't know who either. I don't
Because,
think we've met them yet.
yeah, because this is a little left field, honestly. The fact that it's not him.
I mean, I had thought it before, but then I was like, that seems a little too complex for a beginner case.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna use logic. Ah, but you're talking about this, and I think maybe that has to do with the alibi. The culprit rearranged my files twice, once before and once after the murder. Why? So definitely Mr. Portman's alibi is it. Is it because of the other handgun or the files in disarray? I mean, the fact that it was rearranged twice has not been explained yet.
It has not, which could also be.
Yeah. But the other handgun has also not been explained. So, let's go with what you were thinking with the other handgun. There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life, and one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once, meaning that it is entirely possible that a second gun was used in my office tonight. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person, which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Well, okay. This. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight, that would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were upended twice. We know that the shelves were disturbed once before and once after the murder, so it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of 2 different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it, and once again after the murder by our second culprit. It was the owner of the second gun. If we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back.
Objection!
Mr. Portsman, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great, so you finally come to your senses. Mr. Edgeworth! Sir, what are you saying? This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? But sure, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality, 2 culprits stole into my office tonight. What do you mean 2? It explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice and how there were 2 guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bride and gained entrance to my office. Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know. If you could please go along in my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time. So then this would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct. Then, just when he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith? Why did Mr. Fate come into your room, sir? He probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office, would be my guess. Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right? He must have thought it was odd, so he came into this office to check it out. Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Fate probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Fate's gun from him, and then he killed him. He silenced Mr. Fate for catching him in the act of stealing. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he had also left the fake dying message behind. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, it was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. Because we still don't understand why that one book was moved. There was another visitor, sir. Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, so they stole the master key from the security guard's room, and then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. Stolen zero file, right, sir? Correct, only just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. So the shelves getting messed up twice and the two bullets, it was all because two different people were doing those things at two different times. Precisely, so now do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief, who was not in fact Mr. Fate's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit. Ha 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 ha. What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything. Of course it does. It's Mr. Edgeworth after all. But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and it's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there is one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor. There, Mr. Edgeworth, you can't let him get away with that, sir. But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point. Don't say that, sir. I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. The person you met really was just a plain old thief. Then why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct.
The body's already there dead.
Mm-hmm.
Before the person...
Well, we saw the body after the person left.
Did we?
Yes. That thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should be out there looking for that thief right now. They may still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left. So you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course, now isn't the time to be having these dead-end discussions. I don't think it's at all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? I know he's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. Just have to find a way to prove it.
Hold it!
Actually, no, I wouldn't. Why not? That's elementary. The dying message, of course. Mr. Fate's killer very clearly left those letters on the spines of his files. And it was after they were on there that the thief stole one of them. You mean the zero files, right? And that's how we also know the letters themselves were a setup, but not for Mr. Fate. If Thief was the killer, do you think they would try to undermine themselves? Ah! Or maybe the killer just didn't think of that either. Yes, that must be it. Maybe, just maybe. We should be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby.
Hold it!
Once escaped, I highly doubt a thief would linger nearby. Well, you never know. Maybe they didn't get what they were really after. Oh? You talk like you know quite a bit about this thief. It's nothing like that. I have no idea about anything, after all. I hate to keep myself, but asking where they said I was training in my room.
Hold it!
But according to Mr. Fate's note... Hold on, I thought we already cleared that up. Didn't we say that Jim left that note for me in the early evening? Yeah, proof that he left it at a different time, say, just before he was murdered. I don't have any now. You see? So I insist again that it was in my office the entire time. I was in it. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs.
Hold it!
Why didn't you go there with Mr. Fate? Ah, that's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know those sofas in the hallways? He likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. And what are the evidence he brought? They were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks.
Hold it!
Let's press, but... a gun and a pendant. Yes, this gun, which was the murder weapon. And this pendant, which belonged to the victim. And why were you taking them to Criminal Affairs? There was something in a past case file I wanted to compare these two to. But all this has nothing to do with the case right now. Anyway, I believe you'll find the long paper trail I left to your satisfaction. Yeah, this is all matching up with what Detective Gumshoe found out. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left.
Hold it!
I can't expect you to know, can I? Nope, but I guess you can expect me to take a guess based on logical deductions. Oh, then let's see you deduce. Jim waited for me to leave, then stole the master key. Purpose of sneaking into your room, of course. And that's when Miss Bird caught him red-handed and the murder occurred. It's all exactly as I had laid out earlier, to which he also has all circumstantial evidence. I know he's lying, I know he was there at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. Let's do that. Wonder. There's 3 pieces of evidence. Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phrase here is, you fail. Excuse me? You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read carefully. Ah, it says that Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces. Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman. I can't believe to get tripped up by simple arithmetic. Where is the missing piece of evidence? You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe? You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. But don't come any closer, I'm warning you. This is all part of the investigation. Ow. Don't even think about stopping me. No! Hey, what's this? He had this on him, sir. Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. Why would he hide something like that? There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. For the section of the tape that will drive the last nail into his coffin. Oh, KG8 incident? KG8 incident? That's a police case number, sir. Does this mean this video is evidence from that case? Interesting. However, what's recorded on this isn't much important right now. Let's give the casing a thorough once-over. Ah, that's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh. You mean this might be Detective Fate's blood? No, you've got it all wrong. No amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video. Yeah, it's totally suspicious. Was it at the moment of his death? Did Detective Fate have this videotape on his personage when you killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints. Ah! If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Faith. No, impossible. Wow. Oh my god, he's choking on it.
Is that his version of a suicide pill?
No, I think it's a meltdown, but that would be pretty impressive. Mr. Portsman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Fate, sir. Very good. And the results we got back from the lab techs on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. Blood work came back, and it was definitely Mr. Fate's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were also able to lift a few of Mr. Fate's fingerprints as well. Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies. Aw, it's nothing really. Compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. What? If it had been a hold-up or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from a goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. Wow! Some tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail. You know something, sir? That Mr. Porchman really was one corrupt prosecutor. Why would you say he was corrupt? Well, I heard that there were a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even rumors about how some of the evidence he used is forged, sir. Forged evidence, huh? And they say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons. Ooh, that guy was a complete disgrace to the entire profession. We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, whenever we got near that topic, he just clammed up. Although we can be pretty certain that it was to steal something. This is just between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes. Oh? Well. With Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumor. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this. Huh? That Mr. Portsman isn't the bad guy? I didn't say that, but rather there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance of this piece of evidence.
The videotape. Right?
Oh, we don't have the videotape.
Of why they took
Oh,
it.
this!
Take that!
The person who stole this file, the other villain of the night. Yeah, I wonder who it was, and what happened to the stolen pages? I wonder, who in the world was it that held me at gunpoint? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Yes? I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. This card.
Who's that?
What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there? It's not just any bird. It is the mark of the raven, a three-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, detective. Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief everyone's talking about? Yes, it is the mark of the great thief, Yadagarasu. So, maybe that's the second guy? Left a calling card. Under the mark of a legendary bird, the Yadagarasu is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yadagarasu appears and vanishes at will. Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. Theft is always performed in silence and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is set forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card. Although, it has been a while since the Yatagarasu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, something's written on the back. Well, let me see. It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files. So the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu, organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. In my office, the return of the great thief, Yatagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming, for they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago.
I'm tired, so.
Yeah, I know.
I
mean, at least you didn't doze off this time. Oh, yeah. Okay. We got that done. We got Turnabout Airlines, the Kidnap Turnabout Reminiscence, which is a silhouette of Gumshoe, and Turnabout Ablaze. Interesting. Chapter Select. Spoilers. Yep. So if we look at any chapter select, don't do that. All right. Well, that's it for tonight. Yeah, so I knew this was a bit different from the start. I knew, like, these things were supposed to be like cross-examinations. So, all right, first case down. Second one.